Hi, I'm Cindy Hogan.
And I'm Heather Banks.
This Try It video is one of 4 videos that will show you the new My Connection feature exclusive to the new SDX325 and SDX330D. My Connection allows the SDX325 and SDX330D to communicate with the wirelessly connected XP embroidery machine. Built-in cut data can be sent directly to My Design Center to create embroidery designs. You can also send embroidery data directly to the SDX325 and SDX330D machines wirelessly.
In addition, once My Connection is enabled on the XP adds a new function, the ability to create appliques from shapes and embroidery designs, and not just the exterior of designs. In this video, you will learn how to turn parts of an embroidery design into an applique, and then transfer the applique pieces wirelessly to the SDX325 and 330D, all without software or having to use a flash drive. It truly is an amazing function.
On the home screen of the Luminaire, touch My Design Center. We are going to create a design in My Design Center to turn into an applique in Embroidery Edit. You can use any of the built-in shapes, bring in a JPEG, or use an FCM file transferred from My Connection in the ScanNCut DX machine. In addition to creating fill designs in My Design Center, My Connection adds the ability to create an applique on the machine without having to use software. At the right side of the screen, touch the Stamps Shape key. Instead of bringing in an image or an FCM file for this part of the lesson, we are going to use one of the built-in shapes from the Stamps menu. The XP has many built-in shapes that can expand your applique library. We will use the shape to create an applique design. Touch the third key at the top of the screen, the Open Shapes key. This allows you to view the Open Shapes menu. Here you have more complex line drawings that can be used to create embroidery designs. These designs have some parts that aren't touching, which is why they are considered open shapes. Touch the bird pattern. The bird pattern has a combination of closed and open lines. This is perfect for creating an applique. The birds are closed shapes and the lines are open shapes. The lines don't touch the birds, so we'll be able to assign different colors to those areas. Touch OK to confirm the selection and place the shape on the My Design Center workspace. We want to resize the design so we don't have small birds. This will allow us to have larger areas for applique. To resize, touch the Size key. Touch the Increase Proportional key. Increase the size to 2.75. This doesn't have to be exact, just in that general area. This will make the design fit better to my project. If you're working on a smaller project, you do not need to resize. Touch OK to confirm the size change. Touch the Line Properties key. This will allow us to choose an outline type and change colors. It brings up the stitch type and color menu. When we change colors of an outline, it tells the applique software that it's a different segment. Touch the color tile brown, and then touch OK to confirm the selection. Touch the Line Flood Fill tool, the paint bucket. Touch the branches. You'll need to touch each of the lines that aren't connected to change the colors of all the lines to brown. Now we need to select a fill color for the birds, so touch the Region Fill Properties key. Select a blue color tile and then touch OK to confirm the selection. Click on the Region Flood Fill tool. This will allow you to fill the bird with a single touch instead of having to paint in a little at a time. Touch the inside of both birds to fill them with color and a fill stitch. Touch Next at the bottom right of the window to move to the next step in the My Design Center digitizing process. For this design, we will leave all of the properties at the defaults, so touch Set to move the design out of My Design Center and into Embroidery Edit. Touch OK when the pop-up message appears. This is simply advising you that you are leaving My Design Center and will no longer be able to edit the design in My Design Center. If you want to be able to edit the design later, touch Cancel and then touch Memory to save it in the memory pocket. In Embroidery Edit, touch Edit. The Edit key is where the applique functions are located, along with many other onboard editing tools. Touch the Applique key. My Connection added a new function to the XP's Applique key. In addition to going around the outside of an embroidery design, you can now create an applique from a design directly on the machine without software. How amazing is that? Touch the second Applique key. This is the Applique Pattern for Selected Colors key. It is a new function on the XP that becomes available when My Connection is activated. It allows you to select colors from an embroidery design to turn into applique. You will not see this function unless My Connection has been registered. Once the key is selected, a new screen appears. This screen is where you identify which colors you want to create an applique design from. Since we want the birds to be an applique, select the blue color tile. Touch Next. This confirms your selection and takes you to the next step in the applique creation process. Touch the style of outline that you want the design to have and then touch Preview. I'm going to show you all of the styles so that you can see what they look like. Let's look at the first style by touching Preview. As you can see with this style, you have a very light zigzag finishing edge for the embroidery design. This is suitable if you want a covered but somewhat raw edge for your applique. You might use this style if you're layering stitches on top of the applique as well. Touch the Off key and then touch Preview. With this type applique, you have a raw edge with no covering stitches. This is suitable for raw edge applique and for when layering embroidery on top of an applique. Touch Satin Stitch and then touch Preview. This is the style we will use today. With this type covering stitch, you are generally not going to layer stitches on top of it. It's the most common style of applique. When you are satisfied, touch Next to move to the next step of the applique process. In this screen, you'll see a preview of the applique with the rest of the design. Notice how the black outline stitches over the top of the applique. That's not what I wanted to have happen, but you can turn that color off. Touch the black color tile and then touch the No Sew key at the bottom center of the screen. This turns off the color so that it doesn't embroider. Isn't that amazing? This is so much fun to try out with other designs just to see what a design looks like without a color stitched. Touch OK to set the design on the embroidery edit screen. Your applique has now been created. To send the embroidery designs to the ScanNCut DX 325 or 330D, touch the memory key. This allows you to send the embroidery design to the ScanNCut DX 325 or 330D wirelessly. Touch the transfer to the ScanNCut machine key at the bottom right of the memory window. This sends the design to the My Connection area of the ScanNCut DX machine. When the message appears, touch Transfer. The message that appears is telling you that it is going to overwrite the last file that you sent to the ScanNCut DX machine. If you haven't cut that design out yet and still need to do so, you need to do it before transferring this design. If you're finished with that design, proceed. Now it's time to cut our applique pieces. Let's go to Heather, and she's on our SDX 330D machine. She'll cut out our appliques.
Thanks, Cindy. Let's cut out our applique pieces. From the home screen, touch the left navigation arrow to navigate to My Connection. This is where the transferred files will be found. Touch My Connection to open the My Connection Send and Retrieve screen. Here you can select patterns to send to the XP and retrieve My Connection files you have saved to the ScanNCut and files that you have transferred from the XP embroidery machine. Touch Retrieve. We want to retrieve the file from the XP. To select the XP machine pattern that was sent, touch the Wireless LAN device key. The design will appear in a new window. This is the Applique key. This key recognizes embroidery designs with applique data from the XP. For that to happen, one of the colors in the design must be labeled Applique Material. If a design doesn't have this, you would touch the flower, which is the Embroidery Data key. The XP Applique Creator automatically creates appliques from the XP. Press the Applique key. This applique only has one color-coded selection, therefore it is automatically selected. If you had multiple pieces, you would select the one that you wanted to cut first. Touch OK to confirm the selection. Touch Set to place the cut data in the layout window. We'll be using the standard auto blade with the black top. Let's insert it into the machine holder. We have Fuse Brothers iron-on fabric applique sheet to our fabric. We'll be removing the paper backing and applying it to the standard tack mat with the right side up and fusible side down. Let's load the mat into the machine. Place the mat between the grooves in the front of the machine and one hand on the mat to support it. Press the load button. Once the mat is under the rollers, remove your hand. It is very important to use proper mat loading techniques. If you don't pay attention, it is possible to damage a corner of the mat. Touch the background scan key. The background scan function is unique to the ScanNCut models. It takes a scan of the media that is placed on your mat. This allows you to visually see where your media is on the screen. You don't have to count grid squares to know where your cut files need to be placed. Let's move our applique on top of the scan fabric. Touch OK to proceed to the Operations Selection menu. Press Please Select and touch Cut. Look at the screen to make sure that the half cut setting isn't turned on. If the half cut is on, touch the settings key, navigate to half cut and touch off. Since we are cutting fabric, we want to make sure the cut goes through the material and the backing. Touch Test to add a test cut pattern onto the screen. When you are cutting a new media, it is always a good idea to do a test cut to make sure the pressure setting is correct. If your test cut doesn't cut cleanly, you may need to add a little more pressure. Let's move our test cut onto our background fabric. Press Start to begin the cutting process. The machine will cut the test cut and stop to allow you to check to see if the media was cut cleanly. Check the test cut. If the test cut was good, press Start and begin cutting your design. If it wasn't, choose Test again, move the test cut to another area on the fabric, adjust your pressure, and start again. We look good to go, so let's start cutting our applique. Gently remove the applique pieces from the mat. You may wish to use a spatula so you don't stretch the fabric or crimp a corner. Our birds look perfect. We're ready to send them over to Cindy so that we can finish putting them into our applique design.
Heather's cut out our bird applique designs, and I've stitched up to the placement stitch line of my embroidery design. Now all I need to do is place my cutout pieces on top of my applique placement stitches, press them down with an iron, and then go back to the embroidery machine to complete my embroidery design. As you can see, my connection can really expand your XP's creative capabilities with the ability to create applique designs from designs created in my design center. Applique designs are quicker to embroider in most cases. Plus, the range of fabrics that you find really makes each applique design unique. The most amazing part is that all of this can be done without going to the computer to a software program. In addition, the transfer process to the ScanNCut DX machine makes for a seamless, faster workflow. We really think you will enjoy the new creative opportunities that my connection offers.